This video is made possible by our sponsors, AJA. We'd like to thank AJA for all their support and tell you to go to aja.com for all your production and post-production needs. Hi, I'm Gordon Burkell from Filmmaker U. At Filmmaker U, we create courses for film professionals to deepen and diversify your existing skill set. You can learn more at filmmakeru.com, or of course follow us on Twitter at filmmaker_u. Every week we interview a film professional to discuss their work, and this week I'm joined by hair and makeup artist Camille Friend, whose work includes numerous great films and TV shows, but more recently she was nominated for the Oscar for her work on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Welcome to the show, Camille.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I have to ask, when I was doing some research on this, one of the things, there was like a quote from you talking about the importance of a mentor. And I'm wondering if you can go into, like, who was your mentor in the industry, and what did you learn from them?
That's a great question. So mentorship is really important to me because I think it's a great way for professionals to help people who are coming into the business or even along the way in your craft. And one of my mentors is Robert Stevenson. So I worked with him early on in my career. He was Sam Jackson's, we call him the OG hairstylist. So he taught me so many things about, hairdressing, but then honestly, the business of the business, how to handle the politics, how to handle producers. And we always say Robert is like, he's cool as a cucumber. He's cool as a fan. You never see him get ruffled. So that's something he taught me a lot about that. And then also, coincidentally, I ended up doing Sam Jackson after he retired.
Oh, wow. And so it's like, are you mentoring young people now yourself, or is?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's one of my big things. I love mentoring and just like helping people and helping people grow and, like getting the obstacles out of their way, some things that they're overthinking or career paths. I love giving advice and just helping them figure it out.
I'm going to interrupt this interview for 1 second. We want to thank PixelView, one of our sponsors. They're a streaming solution for filmmakers. PixelView lets you stream your work to remote clients for easy collaboration, and it works with both on-set teams and post-production teams. With built-in video chat, you can discuss and make changes in real time and stream directly from your editing software. Or you can use the hardware encoder to stream from DaVinci Resolve or the camera on set. See the promo code and the link in the video description below. Now, what was it that attracted you to the hairstyle and makeup industry?
Well, for me, I grew up as a hairstylist. Like, I'm a third generation hairstylist. It's something that I've always loved. I couldn't think about doing anything else. I grew up in a family salon, so it was something that I always knew I was going to do.
So now, also in my research, I found that you're very good with like historical pieces, things like that. But when I think about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I'm wondering, like, because it's not a historical place, but right, it's like a fictional. So like, where did you get your inspiration? Like, how did you figure out what the looks were going to be like?
I think with Black Panther, it's not a historical movie in the sense, or it's not like a period movie, but in the other sense, it is all period movie in the sense of all the looks are all grounded in reality. So, everything is taken from, some of the different African tribes, from the Zulu tribe, from the Himba tribe. All those looks are taken and grounded from real tribes. Also, what we did with the Telecanil, we ended up using, Mayan Latin looks, Mesoamerican looks. So everything was grounded in history. We had a professor, Professor Aldana, who's the professor of Latin and Mayan studies, who really helped us, hammer down into what would this look like? Like, really, like, what did it look like? What was it? So he's somebody who really helped us figure out, what was what. And definitely in the Mayan world.
Now, I have to ask, is there anything like trick or approach to hair and makeup from that history that you've discovered that you're like, oh, I'm going to use this now regularly?
Not anything necessarily a trick, because we really had to, it was something like, this is a civilization you haven't really seen on camera a lot. So going into it and figuring out how can we create, an ancient look in a modern day. So
Mhm.
that was something we had to figure out, especially too, like we had to figure out the underwater elements. Like, how do we figure out, how do we keep the hair up in the water? How do we keep it looking good? How do people stay in the water for 12 hours a day and keep a wig on or a hairpiece on? Those are all things like, we had to figure out because, water is a living, breathing thing. And when
Mhm.
pressure of the water, the essence of the water, like if you just get in water, and I even did it one day, I just got in the tank and I just held my breath and I just listened. Like, what is it saying to you?
Well, and what was it that you figured out to keep the hair from, in the water, keeping it as close to what you had wanted?
Well, we figured out like from camera tests, the first camera test we had was a disaster because we figured out once everybody got in the pool, we had put hairspray, we had put gel to hold the hair. And when they got in the water, the product made a big cloud when they got in the water. And it's like, oh no, we have to fix this. So, those were things that we had to figure out. And we figured out basically a glue hairspray. So we sprayed the hair with a concoction of spearmint gum. And then we took alcohol and we really liquefied the product so we could spray it in a pump. And we sprayed the hair with glue. And that's something that really helped the hair hold up. And also we had to sew the hair pieces really in tightly so they would stay in position. And then also in glues, like when we put them on people, we used a, why did it just go out of my head? It would come back to me. Oh my goodness, Camille. We used a silicone glue. There we go. And we used a silicone glue for like holding. And silicone is it's a seal, but then it's flexible like this,
Wow. Yeah.
So that's why we use that.
Ah, smart. Now, like, how do you work with practical effects or the special effects team with your work?
Oh, it's really a hand in hand. And I mean, I love visual effects as something, and special effects, I love it. Like on this one, the special effects are basically done by Joe Harlow, which is the makeup. And then the visual effects are by Jeffrey Bauman, he's also somebody nominated. So especially with the visual effects, we knew like certain things we needed to do from them from camera tests. Like, especially when people in the water, if you have the hair loose, when people move around in the water, the hair goes like this. So how do we stop it? Like, we sew the hair, or, or Jeffrey's going to manipulate it. The hair is going to do this, but then Jeffrey's going to manipulate it just a little bit. So, all of those things we know, like shot by shot by shot, where we're going to go in, where they're going to take over, where we might jump back in and take over.
Now, because like I've talked to other makeup artists, and one of the things that frustrates them is that afterwards, some VFX artists will be like, "Oh, I'll just touch up this little piece," and it's like you don't know what you're doing. So, are you involved in that process in any way? Like, has the VFX team ever brought you in to
Oh
touch
yeah,
up the makeup?
sometime definitely we get to come in, or if they get someplace and they need to talk about it. I have an open door policy. I really like working closely with them, so I still know what's going on with the project. You can see what's going on. And, too, I always say, if you want to get involved, go to them. Go to where they're working, get involved, go see what they're doing. And like, that's one thing when I first started at Marvel, I did go into visual effects, and they gave me like a mini training. So that was something that was really beneficial to me. And it made me understand, like I know a lot of hair and makeup, people think visual effects is the enemy, but if we learn how to work with them, because we have a craft that's very old.
Mm-hmm.
And it only can go so far. And especially what's required in movies now, it needs to go further. So we need to work hand in hand with them.
Now, like, I'm wondering, like, because I've seen that also, like, in touch up in color correction. Did you jump into color correction as well, or is it just VFX?
Just more the effects. I mean,
Okay.
usually the color correction. I mean, on some things, like color is really, really important. Like I did Little Mermaid, and I really worked with visual effects on getting the color of her hair, Ariel's hair, properly. So, that was something where I did really go in and color, and like that, I built them actually a wig with the actual colors that we used in her hair, so they would actually have it. So that was done very initially, like, and even actually, I take that back, in the middle, and then we're getting towards the end, we're getting close, talking to them, and they're off to the races. They did a great job.
Now, once you get into the Marvel machine, it's like a massive, it's like so many working parts. So how do you make sure that you're you're able to have your voice heard and you're getting your artistic vision on your I guess I don't know what the proper term would be, I guess on the actors, but I wanted to call them like your proteges or whatever you would call them. Your
I
art
mean,
pieces.
Marvel is the big machine, but like this is my seventh Marvel movie.
Wow.
So like I know a lot of people in Marvel, and I'm there because people respect my craft, they respect what I do. So really a lot of it is talking to our director, talking to our actors, going to wardrobe, going to talking to our production designer. And within each movie, we really we figure it out. Of course, you do have people we have to answer to. We have to answer to Kevin, Kevin Feige, but Kevin is absolutely not only the president, he is a creator himself. So he very much gets the artist journey, and he gives you a lot of leadway in creating. So that's something that's very nice.
Now, you're up for the Oscar, and I'm wondering, what would you tell the people voting to like about your work on Wakanda Forever? That's like, this is why you have to vote for me.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think in the movie, we have such a great body of work. You have everything. We check all the boxes. You have everything, like I said, from the tribal looks that you got from the first Black Panther. And now we have the telecanil, which is definitely, special with the Mayan culture. Then you also have, and I'm speaking about Joel Harlow. I want to give him his props, my makeup partner. So Joel, the things that he did, with the prosthetics, the gills here, and all the facial tattoos, and the tribal scarification, and just all like some of the like the glow in the dark tattoos, like so many things that he did. And like even the head tattoos, like on Okoye, Denai's character, like all of those things, we give you a plethora of things in this movie. So I think we check all the boxes, and I think we have done an outstanding job, and not just one character, on many, many characters. We did a whole journey. And I think what movie is about special about this movie also is that, this franchise could have been over.
Mhm.
When a franchise loses their star, we lost Chadwick, it could have been over. And so for us to continue on and do a beautiful movie, not only a tribute to him, but also, a movie where you're getting a lot of different Marvel characters introduced, I think we did something that was pretty spectacular.
Well, I think it's incredibly impressive because I remember when he passed and I was just like, ooh, and they're like,
Right.
nope, we're still gonna do this. I'm like, how are you gonna do this?
How
Like,
are you going to
so, and that was
that
like,
too?
and
Yeah.
sorry,
No, I mean, when he passed, I was like, this is over. And then
yeah,
they were like, we're going to keep going. I'm like, how?
yeah, and
But here we are, and I'm talking to you and being
yeah.
listening.
Well,
Yeah.
and it got like rave reviews, so it wasn't like, oh, they just stuck someone. It was like, no, they worked it out, which was so
No.
impressive.
It was really well thought about and carefully planned out in all ways. Yeah.
Now, you also have your own sort of master class that you've created. What is that?
Yes, thank you for asking. I love teaching. Teaching is really my baby. It's my love. And it's called Hair Scholars. And what I do in Hair Scholars is I teach, hair and makeup people how to get into this business, or if you're in this business, how to like gain equity in this business, how to be a department head, how to be a key. And I do, and then also I do wig classes and all those kind of practical classes also. And we have new classes starting March 26th. So I'm excited.
Is it pre-recorded, or is it like, like I'm doing a class March
No,
26th, like come?
the classes that are coming out are pre-records, but
Yeah.
then I will start. I think we're shooting for June, if I'm not mistaken. I have some hands-on. I have a new place I'm about to start teaching, so I
Oh,
can't talk
amazing.
about it yet, but we'll be doing like some big wig classes. Like I'm doing some big 3-day wig classes and some hair texture classes, 3-day classes. And so we have a new home. I can't talk about it yet. We're about to get it together, sign the deal. So, but I'm really excited to be doing that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
In
Now,
LA, let me
yeah.
say the classes are in LA. Yeah.
Now, what would you say was like the most challenging, hair and makeup to do on Black Panther?
Oh, definitely the Camille. That was definitely the most challenging because
Yeah.
that's something like, it's just the elements of the water. And for us too, the other thing that was really challenging was like for me, we had 3 units going on. So, you're not just on first unit minding your business. They could be on second unit and they're establishing a new character or establishing something that we didn't do on first unit. So as a department head, I'm the type of department head. I'm going to go to every unit. I'm checking on everybody, making sure everything is going right because my responsibility is the whole of the movie. So, I think that was what was challenging. And weather, like, Atlanta has everything for you. It has super cold. You get super hot. So, like, keeping on all the hair pieces, Joel keeping on the appliances and keeping everything looking good throughout the day is challenging.
Wow. Now, I have one last question for you. What would you say is your favorite guilty pleasure film or TV show to watch?
Right now, I am watching Gangs of London. I'm probably a little late to the party, but it is so good. It's very violent, anybody, but talk about true gangsters is really good. Plus, okay, I have a lot of guilty pleasure, but I'm going to say one of my guilty pleasure movies is Species 2.
That's a great one.
I don't know why, but I love that movie. And then, for the romantic in me, I love, the Thomas Crown Affair. That's one of my favorite.
The original or the new one? I'm assuming it's the newer one.
It's the newer one. I've not watched the original, but something about that movie, if it's on, I have probably seen it, I'm serious, probably 25 times. And my favorite old romantic movie is Love Story. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And that's it for this week, everyone. Make sure to check us out at filmmakeru.com or, of course, follow us on Twitter at filmmaker_u. I'm Gordon Raquel. Thanks for watching. This video is made possible by our sponsors, AJA. We'd like to thank AJA for all their support and tell you to go to aja.com for all your production and post-production needs.